Good morning, beloveds. I'm having a morning because I'm currently doing physical therapy. I'm not allowed to go for a walk or a run. So I went and voted instead. And then, and we were in line for about an hour and 10 minutes. We would have been in line sooner, but they changed our polling place. And when I looked it up online, I thought that the old polling place was still on there, and I was wrong. So when you go vote, please, and I do thoroughly encourage you to vote early, because the good news about voting early is generally you can vote anywhere. You don't have to go to your district polling place. Although I did, because it's close to my house. So look up online, see where your early voting locations are, and then make sure you have a photo ID. They gave us, when you get in there, they give you a finger condom. And that's not what they're called, but that's what they look like, so that's what we call them. And and they have the stickers on the floor and to keep you 6 feet apart. And as usual, all of the poll workers were very nice. So go vote. Just be prepared. Tom and I took books so that we could entertain ourselves, and then we ended up, I don't know how much of my book I read because I kept looking things up, and we discussed his book and what have you. So early vote. We are done. And oh, sorry. This is one of my physical therapy. It's a lacrosse ball. And I'm taking it to work with me because I'm supposed to use it on a hard surface. There are no hard surfaces in my house. I don't believe in hard surfaces. Well, outside of the floor, but I can't do it from the floor. So, yeah, running around with it. Okay, it is October 14th, and our title... It's October 14th. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. I'm losing track of my days. And our title is I Rejoice That My Spirit Is Free, which is fantastic for, hey, vote day. I now allow the living presence of the Spirit to flow through me in expanding circles of activity. Every past sense of limitation melts away, and every good I have experienced is increased. Every joy that has come into my life is multiplied, and there is a new influx of inspiration into my thought. I see more clearly than ever that my divine birthright is freedom, joy, and good. Spirit is not limited, so neither am I. I let go of all restricting ideas. Knowing that life gives according to my faith, I lift my thought and elevate my faith. I accept the divine presence as now bountifully expressing peace and harmony in my life. Spirit will never fail me if I never fail to believe in its goodness and its responsiveness. Life becomes one grand song as I realize that since God is for me and within me, none can be against me. I will cease merely to exist. I will live. In the awareness that God indwells in my life, I know that my spirit is released from all lack and limitation. I understand and accept the truth about myself. My physical body and my objective affairs reflect the perfection that I feel, the wholeness of which I am certain, and the glorious freedom that rightfully belongs to me. I rejoice that my spirit is forever free. I rejoice that my spirit is forever free. Oh, yes, and on that early voting reminder, I know in Harris County, I don't know about everywhere, but in Harris County, voting is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it's nice and cool in the morning, so the earlier you get there, the better. Except on Sundays. It starts at noon on Sundays. I think it may only run until 5 or 6. So, and it is open. It opened yesterday. Okay. So I now allow the living presence of Spirit to flow through me in expanding circles of activity. And what that spoke to in me about expanding circles of activity is we have this tendency to limit spiritual activity to certain places in our life. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to church and that's where I'm going to do my spiritual activity. Or I'm going to go and meditate and that's where I'm going to do my spiritual activity. Or I'm going to pray. But why not expand the circles of activity and allow the living presence of the Spirit to flow into when you go to work, or when you're reading for fun, or when you're out for a walk. It's easier when you're out for a walk, but and it's a little more difficult when you're at work. But why not allow that that living presence to flow into all of those different areas? In reality, there's no area of your life that living presence isn't, but why not allow it to consciously be there? Try it out, see what it's like. I mean, I'm a minister, so it's in a lot of the work that I do, but not all of it. And so it's definitely a call to action for me. I mean, I was allowing the living presence of Spirit when I was voting. Because I was voting with my heart and with my consciousness and with my living, loving presence. Every past sense of limitation melts away and every good I've experienced is increased. Every joy that has come into my life is multiplied and there is a new influx of inspiration into my thought. And so when we allow that presence in, we allow that love in, it multiplies what the joys that we've already had and kind of reassures us that there will be more joys. And when we have that living presence in, those joys are naturally multiplied because we are sharing them. That's the beauty of sharing joy. When we share joy, it's multiplied. And the interesting thing is that when we share sorrow isn't multiplied when we share sorrow. Sorrow is diminished or halved, or the burden of sorrow is reduced when we share that. So we are called as spiritual beings to share our emotions, because when we share positive emotions, they're multiplied, and when we share negative emotions, if we do it in a healthy way, let me put that caveat on there. If we share our negative emotions, and actually I've had a therapist. We were in a class together, and she said they're not negative emotions. They're not necessarily preferred emotions, but we're talking about like sadness and anger and things like that. But when we share those are reduced. The burden is lightened when we share them in a healthy way. It's got to be in a healthy way. If it's not in a healthy way, then so and that's also where the limitations melt away and everything just kind of gets better. I clearly see, I see more clearly than ever that my divine birthright is freedom, good, and joy. Yes, that is our divine birthright. That is what the Spirit wants for us. And it's wonderful when we're willing for that. Spirit is not limited. Spirit is not limited. Therefore, neither am I. So neither am I. I let go of all restricting ideas. That is an act of will on our part, because we are really good at coming up with those restricting ideas. I can't. How many times have you said, I can't? Well, drop the apostrophe in the T. You can. Maybe not in the way you thought, but that's where we get into we tell Spirit what and leave the how to Spirit. So let go of the restrictions and allow Spirit to do the amazing job that it can do to bring things into our experience. Knowing that life gives according to my faith. How big is your cup of acceptance? How big is your cup of faith? I lift my thoughts and elevate my faith. Meaning I get it up out of the mortal, messy, material world into that spiritual blueprint where anything is possible because everything already exists. We just need to bring it into form, and we don't even have to bring it into form. We just have to allow. We have to allow it to come into form. I accept the divine presence as now bountifully expressing peace and harmony in my life. Spirit will never fail me if I never fail to believe in its goodness and its responsiveness. Okay, I take issue with that, and I'm going to take issue with Ernest occasionally, but it's only about the way he languaged it. First off, Spirit will never fail. Period. Spirit will never fail you. Ever. So I'm taking issue with if I never fail to believe in its goodness and responsiveness. Spirit will never fail you. What may happen is occasionally we will forget. We will forget who we are. We get caught up in the mess and the noise, and we forget who we are. Spirit has not failed us. It's almost like he's saying, you have failed Spirit. But you haven't failed Spirit either. You've just momentarily forgotten who you are. And when you remember who you are, which is a divine child of Spirit, then Spirit will immediately respond back to you. It's not that Spirit wasn't responding, but Spirit was just waiting for you to catch up. That's all. Because Spirit can only do for us what it can do through us. So Spirit will never fail us. Ever. It just, like I said, might wait for us to catch up a little bit. Life becomes one grand song as I realize that since God is for me and within me, none can be against me. And that is the idea of the oneness. If God is all around us, then there truly are none against us. That's all in the appearances. In the spirit, none are against us. It's the messy, juicy, mortal world that creates the appearances that are. And so we just have to pray from that elevated place and know from that elevated place and recognize the godlings around us as godlings and give them the space to recognize themselves as godlings, because we can't make them do it. We just have to know that they are and hold the space that they can see it themselves. I will cease merely to exist. I will live. How many people never live a day in their lives? They exist. They're just trying to get through it. But you can live. You can live. And Spirit, that's what Spirit wants. Spirit doesn't want you to exist. Spirit wants you to live, to experience, to have all the momentous occasions, and to gather that wisdom and that knowledge. In the awareness that God indwells in my life, I know that my spirit is released from all lack and limitation. I understand and accept the truth about myself. Go look in the mirror and say that to yourself. I understand and accept the truth about myself. What truth is that? That you are a beloved child of God in whom Spirit is well pleased. That is the truth. That is the truth of who you are. Spirit will never fail you. That is the truth of who you are. You are loved. That is the truth of who you are. And you are love. That is the truth of who you are. My physical body and my objective affairs reflect the perfection that I feel, the wholeness of which I am certain, and the glorious freedom that rightfully belong to me. When you accept the truth of yourself, it will shine through you in ways that are completely unexpected. Physically, in the things that you do, in the words that come out of your mouth. That is, when you accept that you are love, then it will come through you in ways that will make people go, something has changed. So I rejoice that my spirit is forever free. I rejoice that your spirit is forever free. I rejoice that all spirits are forever free. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to go look in the mirror, to look into the eyes of spirit looking back at us, and to say to ourselves, I understand and accept the truth about myself, that I am love. That is our mission today. And it is an amazing mission. And it might make you cry. Because, looking in the mirror with the eyes of love, that is an exercise that women struggle with every day. So I'm looking in the eyes of spirit right now and telling that spirit that I love them. And that I love all of the people who are looking in my eyes digitally right now. So do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. Do something loving, kind, and compassionate for the world right now. Go vote. Early voting is open in a whole bunch of places. Here in Texas, it opened yesterday. So please, that is a loving, kind, and compassionate thing that you can absolutely do. And people were wonderful in line. They absolutely were. So, and it was a wonderful cross-section too, to see, of ages and, everything. It was great. So it was also really nice today because it was in the mid-60s. Yeah. So really nice in the morning. It's going to get up to 88 today. So pick your times. And, just do what you need to do to have a wonderful day. Do something to engage your mind and your body. Open the windows of your soul and allow the breath of heaven to remind you that spirit will never fail you. You live in heaven now. All right, beloveds? Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today. It is Wednesday, so the Living Science of Mind book study is on at 6. If you want in on that, check your emails for that, because I believe that's done over Zoom. And I will be back with you at 9 a.m. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day.